You know, I always love a good challenge, and so I called my friend Grablet and had him pick one for me.
Hello?
So, I need a Terraria challenge from you.
Terraria challenge?
Yeah.
Okay, how about Yoyo only as a dwarf?
Alright, sounds good. Goodbye. And you know me, I don't want to have to talk to that guy any longer than I have to.
So, you heard him as well as I did. Unless you're deaf, then you didn't hear him at all. But, Yo-Yo only as a dwarf. The yo-yo part is pretty self-explanatory, I think, but just in case you don't get it, I can only deal damage to enemies using yo-yos. Dwarf means I have to get underground as soon as possible and then stay underground for the rest of the run, with a few exceptions where I would have to go up to the surface, like fighting Skeletron.
So let's go. What do I need for a yo-yo?
Can you tell I didn't really know what to do going into this? I literally didn't even know how to make a wooden yo-yo. And contrary to what I said about 54 words ago, I did not go underground as soon as possible. I took some time to gather wood and torches before descending into the earth. And look at that, I already failed the challenge when I was getting those torches. I started killing slimes with my sword. So, oops. That didn't stop me though, because it didn't, and I just kept going. Speaking of keeping going, I was going down into the ground, and while I began to dig, I realized,
Man, this is gonna be, I'm not gonna lie, this is very much going to be a slow start.
I'm only using a copper pickaxe, which is the first pickaxe in the game. Which doesn't sound that bad, but it was awful. Because normally when you're playing Terraria, you'd go into a cave and just walk around, but I had to mine each place I was going. I had to mine hundreds of stone and dirt just to get anywhere. It took 30 painstakingly slow minutes to finally get a better pickaxe. But I still didn't have a yo-yo. And each minute that I didn't have that goddamn yo-yo, I was getting way more frustrated. Without a yo-yo, I can't fight back against anything. If it's a slime or a zombie or something, I can maybe escape it, but if I run into something like a worm, I'm just screwed. And you'll never guess who ran into a worm while mining.
Dear Lord. That's it. I'm dead.
I was getting so frustrated. I went back up to the surface and broke the rules of the challenge again to try and find another cave that would just hopefully have cobwebs in it. I tried to not fail the challenge for a minute before that by digging a tunnel a couple blocks underneath the surface, but I was just too impatient, so I just made a break for it above ground. Unluckily, it is nighttime, and I have no weapon. There is no way this can go right. And guess what? It didn't. One zombie did 100 damage to me, and then I fell to my death in a cave I was trying to reach. I did not learn my lesson from this, though, because I kept trying, and died on each attempt. I was so close to just giving up. And then I finally made it to the cave, and I found...
Show spikes.
Just kidding. I found cobwebs. After an hour of struggle, I could finally make a wooden yo-yo. Just to recap, I've spent about an hour searching and searching for cobwebs so I can make this stupid yo-yo so I can actually fight things. Now, how good is this weapon? Here are its stats, and here's it in action. As you can see, it's not that great. It has low damage, a low range, and can only be thrown out for a second or two at a time. I mean, what did you expect? This is the most basic yo-yo, and one of the first weapons you can even get in the game. I also have a pretty major disadvantage of being underground, being that most of the enemies underground are tougher than the ones on the surface. I'm now capable of killing, but barely. Combat is still a big no-no because I will still lose nearly every fight. but I finally have a chance now, which is better than nothing. To celebrate my newfound weapon, I didn't use it at all. I built some houses instead. I figured having a safe place to come back to and some NPCs to buy and sell with, along with a place to store my items, would be pretty nice. Not to mention, I can put a bed in one of those houses, and now I can spawn underground. Something that was slowing me down a lot in the beginning was that I always spawned on the surface and had to slowly and carefully make my way back down to wherever I was. Now I can just circumvent that entire progress by spawning underground each time. The merchant and the nurse moved in too. And I also crafted myself a string that increases the range of my yo-yo and makes the low damage a little more bearable by letting me keep my range. I spent a little bit more time looking around the area around my base for anything useful and to just get a general lay of the land. I also started digging a little tunnel so maybe I could reach more biomes in the future. But I ended the stream after that, and I was pretty unsure if I wanted to continue this challenge or not. I had spent a lot of this stream just being very frustrated with what was happening, so I wasn't sure if it would be fun to keep going. I turned off the stream and went to bed, but I couldn't fall asleep. I kept tossing and turning thinking about this challenge. Felt like I couldn't give up. Like I had to persevere and make it through this. And then suddenly, I got it. I knew what had to be done. I needed to make the perfect plan for how I would proceed. I worked tirelessly all night, putting in my blood, sweat, tears, until finally, I've done it. I now have a plan that will hopefully guide me through this and stop my aimless wandering through this subterranean shithole. I don't think that I'm in any condition to fight the Eye of Cthulhu with my current gear, so I need to get a step up. I need to get the Amazon. It's twice as good as my yo-yo in nearly every way, and it's actually the best yo-yo I can get at this point in the game. The only issue is that I need to go to hell for this thing. Not this hell. Worse hell. That's right. I need to go to the jungle. Now, this is a pretty major goal. The jungle is a nightmare of a place in Terraria. The enemies are tough and merciless, and they'll still find ways to kill you with endgame gear. And I'm going there with no armor and a terrible weapon. A single enemy will kill me in like 2 hits. But this isn't the only hard part. I haven't even found the jungle yet. I have no idea where it is. I still have to dig a tunnel there and just hope that it's somewhere nearby, and then I still have to struggle through all the caves to get there. This is gonna be hard, but I am not going to give up now. I am going to do this shit. My secondary objective, though, is to get a counterweight. There are a couple yo-yos accessories in this game that can help a lot in increasing the usefulness of my yo-yo. I already have one of them, being the string. The only other one I can get right now is a counterweight, which creates a second yo-yo-like projectile that after hitting an enemy with a yo-yo, it deals the same amount of damage and traveling towards it and then arcing over the player. That's just the wiki definition. I can get these for a couple bucks at a traveling merchant or a skeleton merchant, which makes it way easier to get than the Amazon. But anyway, this was the thing that took me the most time out of everything in this entire video. It took me 2.5 hours to get this. Double the time it took for me to get the wooden yo-yo. My first death came with a warning from Markiplier himself.
Be careful.
And that's when I knew I was fucked. Getting to the jungle was a struggle. Death was lurking at every turn, and each setback was a lot bigger than it would have been on the surface. It also really didn't help that I still don't have a full set of armor. I don't know why I don't. I have enough bars for armor, I just never made it. But anyway, one big roadblock I ran into was these spiders. They were strong, and they could kill me in about 1 to 2 hits. It especially didn't help that they kept spawning in my tunnels after I dug through their caves, so I ended up having to make these little airlock type things to prevent spiders from coming up behind me and killing me while I was digging. I also kept getting killed by shellies and bats over and over. This was so annoying. It was like twice as frustrating as getting the wooden yo-yo. So, I mean, I guess it really is twice everything for this yo-yo. Twice the damage, twice the time, twice the frustration, twice the mental anguish. But here are a few of my favorite moments of me getting angry.
Bats. Fucking bats. God damn it. Why are there so many bats?
Totally fine. Everything's good.
I can't fucking see it because it's pitch fucking black. Fuck off. Fuck. No. Fuck. Okay. That's progress, man.
How's your night going?
Fuck
Where you
you.
headed?
Man, I was really upset, huh? But it wasn't without progress. With each death, I was slowly working my way towards what would hopefully be the jungle. Another bad part of this, I don't know if I mentioned or not, is I don't have a clue if any of this frustration is gonna be worth anything, because it's possible that the jungle is on the other side of the world, and I'm just digging in the wrong direction. But I won't know that until I run into the dungeon. All of this effort could go to waste so quickly. But the digging continues. And continues. And continues. And then continues some more. And then even more. Until we dig some more. And then finally...
It's just been more digging, but I found it. I found the jungle. Finally.
That's right, I fucking found it! I found the jungle, and I can finally start getting the Amazon. This might take even longer than the last part. To craft the Amazon, I need 8 rich mahogany, 12 stingers, 1 vine, and 9 jungle spores. The wood and the spores are pretty easy to get. They just grow on the jungle floor, and I can go dig them up from most places. The stingers and the vine are going to be harder. I get a vine from killing a man-eater, which go through walls to attack me. Luckily, they only have a limited range, so with some effort, I can kill one without it ever being able to touch me. The effort being, I have to dig like a hole, so it can come up and I can stand above it and just hit it out of its reach. The definite hardest thing to get is stingers. I can kill hornets or spiked jungle slimes for them. I mainly killed the slimes because hornets are a lot harder to hit with a yo-yo, and if they land a single hit on me, I die. I managed to trap a couple slimes and kill them. This really actually ended up being not as tough as I thought. It just took a long time because I do so little damage and everything has so much health here. I just put my yo-yo through a 1 or 2 block hole, and then I was able to kill what was on the other side with enough time. After the ordeal getting to the jungle, I'm very glad it didn't take as long to get everything while in the jungle. But finally I'm done. After all this struggle and strife, I can create the Amazon. I have my weapon for taking on the Eye of Cthulhu now, but I'm not going to quite yet. I came to the realization at some point that to take on the Eye of Cthulhu, it won't spawn naturally under the ground. He won't show up at all during the night, so I need to find a spawner so I can even get him to show up. I only have one spawner right now, so I have one attempt to beat this guy, and I have to make it count. I have to have a 0% chance of failure. I need to be at my peak. So I need to make a full set of gold armor, which is the best I can get right now. I need to max out my health, which is 400, and I need potions. I need to explore the area for all of these. I can find life crystals and gold anywhere, but to make potions, I need to find glass, which means I need to find sand, which means I need to find a desert. First is maxing out my health. Easy. I do it while doing everything else, even recording this voiceover. Life crystals are everywhere. Armor, I just made it. I already had everything for it. Now, the desert. Guess how much digging was involved? I said guess. Fine, it was a lot. So much digging that I found the dungeon. And if you know something about Terraria, then something about that would sound wrong. And you're right, something is wrong. Because the underground desert is on the same side as the jungle, and the opposite side as the dungeon. I dug for 2 hours in the wrong direction, and never found any sand. That was incredibly defeating and frustrating. You know what's more frustrating in hindsight is why I didn't just use the potions I had in my fucking chest. Basically, I'm a moron, and that was a huge waste of time. But I have everything now, so...
I guess I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
And the duel begins.
Owie. Now this is where I think things might get a little funky. Because if he's gonna keep dashing... Because, yeah, if he's gonna be constantly dashing, I can't... Fuck you, he's dead. You know what, that was a little easier than that was easier than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie, I think in my head I built the eye up a lot.
Oh, I sure did. I thought it was going to be way more trouble than it was. It seemed like such a huge goal to do this with a yo-yo because every other task was such a major struggle in literally every other place in this run. This just seemed completely impossible. But that was it, though. That was the end of everything I've done so far in this world. If you want to see more, tell me, and I'll do it. I have nothing better to do. You should subscribe, like, not this video, a different one. You'll know which one when you find it. And if there's something to take away from this video, the moral would be that you should...